Hi, I want to ask you a question. When you see a child getting spanked or beaten in public, how do you feel? Is your heart settled or unsettled? Do you feel peaceful or unpeaceful? Well, today we're going to talk about the reasons why you should not spank your child and the lifetime effects that it can have on your child. So, as a child, I was spanked. I came from a home where spanking was the discipline route that we took. I always thought that I would do the same thing. You know, when I grew up and had children, that I would spank my children just as I was spanked. But I looked into it because I didn't have peace about it. There was no peace in my heart about, beating my child because he did something wrong. So I chose to really look into statistics and just effects, long term, short term, just the best ways to discipline a child. So every single parent is different, but there is one thing we can all agree on as parents is we want our children to grow up and be the best people that they can be. It's also our responsibility as parents. So we're going to talk about my background, long-term effects, short-term effects of spanking your child, and then also just the best discipline routes that we can take. So let's look into my background. How did it affect me? So I came from a unique home. My mom spanked me. My dad did not spank me. So I had, per se, the best of both the worlds. I had the outlook of both worlds. My father and my mother's relationship that I had was very, very different. I felt more comfortable and also more safe with my father. I felt safe and comfortable with my mother as well, but there was also fear in my heart that if I did something wrong, whether it was corrective action or whether it was something that I intended to do, I was afraid that I would get a spanking and that, I just had fear in my heart. So we also had a naughty step, and on the naughty step, I would really and truly think about what I did and how next time I was going to do it differently and how did I get to where I was at. So the spanking, I was afraid. I was in fight or flight. I just wanted the beating, the pain to be over with. I just wanted it to be done. So as a young adult, I saw some things transition in my life. I reflected back and I had anger, I had resentment, I was frustrated, and I came from a good home. My parents loved me. I didn't know how to cope with everyday life skills because the coping mechanisms that I knew and that I had learned was that if I do something wrong or if I mess up, there will be pain that comes with it. Not that it will be a corrective action, that I will be inflicted with pain, physical pain. So, and I was not spanked severely. I just was a smack on the hand or, sometimes the wooden spoon, but it really affected me. So then as, I started to go to college and got my first job, it did truly show that I had some things to work on, and I think it all could have been corrective if I would not have been spanked. So now what we're going to do is we are going to look at the short-term and the long-term effects of a child that is being spanked. These are all facts, and these are all statistics. So long-term, low self-esteem leads to aggression. They can't deal with the issues that are at hand because they never were taught the coping skills that they needed in order to go out into the world and deal with all the conflicts and the different types of people, cultures, backgrounds that they're going to deal with. Every single person is different, and you need to learn how to deal with people, places, and things. And spanking does not help that. Mental health issues, anxiety, depression, self-doubt, decreased brain function. So when you go into a fight or flight mode, just like a public speech, you are like not cognitively thinking. When you get spanked, it is the same thing. Luckily, with our public speeches, we're prepared to do so. When you are getting a spanking or facing a challenge in life, or that you have messed up, the fight or flight just turns into a fight or a flight, and you can't deal with it because there's fear that's placed in you. Unless you attack that fear that was placed in your heart at a very young age because you were not obedient to what you were being told, then you can seriously deal with that your whole entire life. And sometimes you just don't know where it came from. Well, now you know, and I'm thankful that I can help you today so that we can be the best parents we can be, and we can be the best people that we can be in the world. So, short-term effects, it doesn't teach them right from wrong. It's not helpful. Are you talking to them or are you just spanking them? Because you're like, no, you know better, Why would you do this again? So, negative behavior, most children want attention. They just want attention, so they do that wrong thing so that you can go, what are you doing? Don't do that. Hello, I'm right here. Fear within every single child. So placing that fear within a child is never good, especially 1 through 5. They're soaking everything in like a sponge. So don't earn their obedience by fear. Their sponge needs to be soaked in with goodness so that when they go out into all the world, they at least have that love in their hearts and they remember that even when they did wrong, mom and dad were there. So now what we're going to talk about are the good ways to discipline our children, right? So healthy discipline is awesome. Communication, learning, and listening. So healthy communication, talk and conversate instead of demanding, help them understand why, walk it out. So we do breaks, so you can take a break. Doesn't mean you're in timeout or you've really even done anything wrong. It simply just means that you just need a minute. You're just overwhelmed. You're overstimulated. So you just take a break, walk it out. And then a timeout. Timeout is corrective action. In timeout, we admit what we did wrong. We then admit what we're going to do next time to be better. We hug it out, and that's it. It's awesome. So let's recap on some of the nuggets that I want everybody to take home with them today, or some of the nuggets that you did take home. First, we spoke about my background. I came from the very diverse home, spanking and no spanking, the long-term and the short-term effects, the statistics, the facts about how we are treating and just putting into our children, what we're putting into our children, words of life or words of death. So it's so important. And then also just the healthy discipline. So nonetheless, I just want you guys to remember that our children are our generation and they need love and support, kindness and generosity. So just don't raise your hand to them, raise your hearts to them. Thank you so much.